Good morning, lovelies. I thought you might like to see my morning setup. This is usually my yarny place. I am Kira, usually your yarn host. This morning I have to disconnect my TPN before I do anything else. This is on a 12-hour cycle. I generally hook up at 8 p.m. and then somewhere around 8 a.m. it'll make a beeping noise, and the beeping noise either means there's a blockage or occlusion, or the beeping noise signals it's done. So I'm just waiting for my signaling it's done beeping noise. My TPN nutrition is now clear. They removed my lipids from the TPN. You can see the bag is almost empty. There's a 200 ml overflow on these bags, so there's always supposed to be just a little bit left. This TPN has no liquids, so it is clear. The little bit of yellow you see is the remnants of the vitamins and medications that I have to inject into this port before I hook everything up. Then you spike the bag and the tubing goes into the pump. And once you get the pump primed and ready, it goes through a very small micron filter that is supposed to break up air bubbles and protect you from anything that should happen to get into the bag. And I have about 2 feet of leash that ends up in my chest. Yay! So this is how I start every morning. It's so much fun. This is how I eat. I'm hooked up to this TPN for 12 hours a day. And the more I can actually physically eat, like food, then I can get off of the TPN. But right now, with all the complications I'm experiencing and the previous surgeries, I have not experienced the feeling of hunger since 2011, when they took the fundus, or the rounded top part of my stomach. That's where your stomach produces ghrelin, and ghrelin is the hormone that makes you hungry. So I have to treat food like medication, and I have to eat because I have to eat, not because I'm hungry. I have to eat because it's time to eat. And I forget. So here I am on the TPN. This is my first central tunneled line. I used to have a pick line in my eye. I've gone through, I think, 4 or 5 pick lines, and my last one got infected. So Daredevil attempt number 3 and tried to kill me. So they decided to go through a tunneled central catheter this time. And if you haven't seen one, first they make an incision Oh, excuse me, random hiccup. They make an incision here. You can see the little scar on my neck. They put the line down into your heart, and then the other end of the line you can feel is tunneled right under my skin, and it comes out right in the middle of that little bio patch. And I have 2 lumens. This is all very hard to do when it's still hooked up and my shirt neck is not too loose. I have 2 lumens. I have a red lumen for taking blood, and the purple lumen is the one that we hook up to the 12-hour bag. Now, both of these lines need to be flushed when the bag's done, and I'll show you how to do that. Please excuse my teeth. I'm a little embarrassed about this whole close-up thing. Between the hospice level medications I was on for years and the malnutrition, my teeth are jacked. So, I know. Please don't comment. Let's see what the pump is doing. We have we have about 24 mils remaining. So we need to wait till the bag empties a little bit more. This, if you have not seen one before, this is attached to every jacket I have. This is attached to every drawstring I have. These are line clamp hemostats. They look like scissors, but they're very dull. And they have the little ridges that catch each other. So if you happen to get a leak on your line, God forbid something happens and your line gets broken or cut, you put this above where the broken part is. You ratchet down the clamps, and that will keep blood from flying out of your wound and your tube, because there is a slight back pressure, and if something should happen to the line lock on the tips of your lumens, then it'll be messy. So I always I have 2 hemostats. I have one in the bag and one outside of the bag, and I have one on every drawstring hoodie I own. And the hospital generally gives me blue ones, and I did not get one when I was in the hospital getting my central tunnel catheter installed. So I just went on Amazon and bought a 12-pack of them, because you never know, and it's always better to have more than you need. So, also, while we're waiting for the pump to be done, all of this, depending on who your supplier is, mine comes in a regular, pretty much backpack-sized backpack. So, if I happen to hook up at 8 o'clock and something should happen and I need to go out, I can just hitch it over my shoulder and go. My last supplier I had, when I had my PICC lines, gave me a much smaller backpack. But I kind of like this one because I can put more stuff in it. I can put You know, I can get all my stuff ready at night. So I have my daytime stuff set up in the morning. I've got my saline syringes primed. I've got my heparin syringes primed. When your syringes come in, they come sealed in plastic and are sterile. What you have to do is take each syringe out of the plastic, and if you note, there's a little bit of air in the top of the syringe. So you take them out of the plastic, you loosen the screw top, but you don't remove it, you just loosen it and you squish the air out. You want to make sure you have all of your syringes primed before it is time to inject them, because air going directly into your heart is generally a bad idea. So I set up everything on my little bed tray before it's time. I have my alcohol wipes ready to go. And morning time it's 6. Evening time it varies. I have my saline, my heparin, and these are green caps. And we're just waiting for $21.83. We want 2,200 mils. And that's generally my feed dose is the 2,200 mils. So sometimes I wake up early, sometimes I don't. Thankfully, my husband's off today, and he brought me coffee and batteries for my vape, so I don't have to get up. Yesterday was a bit of a crash day and a little bit over emotional, so I'm still kind of recovering from that. Anytime I get emotional or if I get tired, it wears me out to the point that it's hard to move. And it sounds ridiculous, and I entirely understand why so many doctors gaslit me for so many years. Because it sounds stupid. I cried too much and now I can't get up. And people go, oh yeah, okay, so yeah. And really, when you have some of these chronic illnesses, stupid things like that happen. Myalgic encephalomyelitis. I learned a lot of big medical words. Basically is what they used to call chronic fatigue syndrome, but now that they actually understand it and where it comes from, and that it's actually a real thing, it's myelitic encephalomyelitis. Myalgic encephalomyelitis. I'm not awake yet. Myalgic encephalomyelitis. And I will put that somewhere in words, because they're big words. But yeah, so that's, as everyone knows, chronic illness does not usually come by itself. Chronic illness has friends, and they generally get together as a party, or as my son says, chronic illness are like Pokemon. You gotta catch them all. which is not necessarily a goal. But once you get a diagnosis, then you can stop feeling like you're an idiot for feeling like this. And there's actually something real going on, which is nice to know sometimes. My myalgic encephalomyelitis predated, I think everything kind of predated my Ehlers-Danlos. Since Ehlers-Danlos is not, there's not a whole lot of doctors that even know what Ehlers-Danlos is. There's a lot less specialists that know how to test for it. So luckily, the head of genetics in the hospital that I go to is an Ehlers-Danlos specialist. And I was able to get genetic testing and just found out about this 3 years ago. So a little bit too late, because I already got myself in a corner with it, but at least it has a name. So at least I know it's not just me. I'm not just feeling like blah. I actually have a nameable, treatable kind of thing, which is nice. Although it's not nice to have it, it's nice to actually know what it is, because then you have a jumping off point. So, yay, there's that. My surgeon has allowed me to keep my 6% nicotine. I'm not allowed to go any higher. So I went from vaping, I think we started at 36 milligrams. And we've been down to 6 milligrams for the past, I don't know, probably 10 years. My husband and I both vape instead of smoke. And I ran out of battery, so I get to replace my battery. And I'm waiting for, I thought this was going to be sooner than this, so I guess you're getting a longer video than I intended. So take that. I'm going to change the battery on my vape. I'm not used to holding my camera. And excuse me, because I'm drinking coffee and I just got up. So all the air bubbles out of my system are kind of burbling up to the surface. So excuse me if I have the air bubbles. Alright, let me see if I can maybe get this set up over here so it won't fall. There we go. I don't have to hold it for right now. I'm trying to remember whose hat this is. I think this is a fiber spider hat. I just added post stitches to the edge, but I'll have to look it up. I love these hats. They make the little spirally on them. I have a whole bunch of those. I make those every time I have enough yarn to make a hat, nothing else. I love these hats. like the fans. And it takes self-striping yarn, and really, most self-striping yarns tend to work out really well in this pattern. I still can't quite remember where I'm supposed to look when the phone is pointed this way, so I'm paying attention to you. I'm just trying to wait for my We beeped. We beeped. Okay. We have beeped. So, our first thing we do is we turn the pump off. We open the pump door and we remove the line from the pump. And then you follow the line all the way back past the filter. There is a little slip lock. I take the slip lock all the way to the end, up to where my lumen is. And I lock and unscrew the end so I can throw that away and it won't leak. I'm trying to figure out how to do this without TOS coming at me. There we go. So this is my central line. They were nice enough to go above my tattoo. These are individual locks for when they have to change out the lumen tips. The little blue pieces get replaced once a week. And you have to lock it because once you take the lumen tips off, there is no blockage and no pressure, and then they will just start to bleed. And that's not fun. So this is the one we use for feed. So what I'm going to do, take my alcohol swab. And I try to look away from it while I'm cleaning it. You want to make sure your shirt doesn't touch it while you're cleaning it. And you want to make sure to hold the clear end part of the blue, because if you unscrew that blue cap, it will leak. Squeaky means it's clean. Then you take your saline. You don't want to touch the tip of the saline. You only want to touch the cap. You take the tip of the saline and you match it up to the tip of the lumen. It screws on. And when you're flushing your lumen, you want to do a push-pause method. Because if you do a continuous push, then sometimes you will have blood cells or platelets build up on the end of the tip. You want to do a push pause, push pause, push pause, because that makes the tip of the part that goes into your heart, makes it whip around a little bit. So if there's anything that has started to collect on the line itself, it'll clear it off and it'll stop new things from trying to settle onto the tip of that tubing. So push pause, push pause, push pause. And then This can either go in your recycling or your trash, depending on where you live and your recycling things. Alcohol swab. Some companies send you scrub caps that look like teeny tiny creamers that have a sponge-like material in them that are filled with alcohol. So you just peel the lid off and smush the cap down. My current company that does my supplies does not have those. So then you want to take your, this is what, I think this is a 5%. Yep, this is a 5% heparin lock. Oh, no, it is not. It's 100 USP. It's 100 USP units per ml. So it's a 500 unit heparin lock. They make different size heparin locks. They make different percentages. I am using the yellow ones because I was using the half strength ones before, and my PICC line got clogged. So after you saline and heparin, the heparin flush keeps any blood clots from forming. You alcohol wipe again. These come in strips. Nurses all refer to these as green caps. They're filled with, they have a little squishy thing in the center, and they are filled with chlorhexidine. And that's just another layer of protection for your line. Now, I did not use the blood return line, but your blood return line every 24 hours should be rinsed, just to make sure it keeps flowing, because I have massive amounts of blood work every Monday. Because not only do they have to check that my blood's okay, they have to make sure that they check my nutrition, because should anything change, then they can change the nutrition on my TPN. Thankfully, I am still able to get most of my vitamins and things by mouth. So I try to keep that up as much as I can, though every night I do have 2 vials of adult vitamins that I have to inject into my TPN. Alcohol pads. And when in doubt with the alcohol pads, if you think something has touched or may have touched your connector, you can always use another alcohol pad. I always make sure I have extra. Then we put the heparin on and push pause, push pause, push pause, push pause, push pause, push pause, push pause. And again, your heparin, your caps, your saline, the caps that go with that can all go into recycling, as can your used green caps. So that's it. So I don't have to do anything at all for my central line until this evening. when I have to hook up my feet again. So this is a designated tray that I got just for my TPN stuff. I got it back when I was on a pick line. So my cats would know. This is going to sound silly, but it works. My cats know that if I have this tray set up on the bed with stuff on it, they know they're not supposed to come near me, because sterile environment as much as possible. And I don't move much from here, so this is my environment. Now, you have to... Okay. I do have to take my bag out of my backpack. So there's a little hook at the top. And the phone falls. That was a very close up of the hook at the top. So we just unhook. I like to close my flaps, not the Velcro way, so the Velcro lasts longer. And then I just take my TPN bag and wrap the hoses up. And that gets thrown into the trash. So, that was the end of my dinner. In case anybody was wondering. That's what I do every morning before I get to start on anything else. My cats know that they are not allowed on my backpack. The cats know they are not allowed on this board. Every time you set everything up, I guess I should have shown that first, but it's so automatic. I clean my hands either with alcohol sanitizer, wash my hands, or I use the alcohol wipes and make sure that my hands are clean. I also use alcohol wipes to clean down my board and make sure all that's clean. Anything that goes directly into your heart, you want to make extra sure that it's clean, because you don't want any kind of infections, any kind of anything that's not supposed to be in there. And that's it. That is my morning routine. And now I grab my laptop and try to get warm and finish my coffee. So, I will try to be back with some yarny content. Yesterday was a little bit horrible. Yesterday was a lot horrible. So, I'm not sure how much yarny content I'm going to be getting to today. But I'll try. Hopefully this was interesting. If you guys want to see my dinner setup, what I have to do at 8 o'clock to get the bag on, I'll try to do that for you. Just leave me a comment, let me know. I'm not trying to freak anybody out. I just don't see a whole lot of central line hookup and unhook videos. So, yay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for watching. This is not usually my content, but, you know, if you want to follow me, you're more than welcome. Like, subscribe. Let me know if you want to see any other content with, you know, my daily routine or what I have to do dealing with the chronics. Yeah, let me know. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Be kind. Be kind to yourself. It really does matter. Sprinkle kindness like seeds. It's free. Bye, lovelies.